In one of our previous videos, I already had a conversation with Michael and Lars about control towers in the supply chain. And today, again, we will be talking about control towers, but from a different angle. And so joining me are Ilka and Wouter.
Hi.
Thank you for joining. I already know quite some stuff about control towers as such, but what has changed since the conversation I had with Lars and Michael?
So what you see, a control tower is an established concept. A few years ago, it was all about getting the visibility in place to see where your shipments are and where they've been. What we've seen is they've evolved in the meantime. So on the one side, the breadth has developed further. So what you see is that companies like Samsung that develop their own control tower are actually selling that control tower service to others. And on the other side, you see the depth changing. And what I mean with that is that there's more capabilities in the control tower. So there's now analytics, there's more data, there's blockchain, and all those things are starting to come together to make the control tower a much richer concept.
So I've talked before with Hein about consumer products and their supply chain. And what makes control towers interesting for consumer product companies?
So what we see in consumer products is that the world of one is really becoming key. And where supply chain was previously a chain is now becoming a connected network of ecosystems with a customer at the heart. So coming from a world of mass production, this is quite a change and has quite a big impact on the supply chain, but also on the control tower. So in this new world of one, we see that customers are demanding two new requirements that have an impact on the control tower. So the first is transparency. Customers want to know where their product has been, where it has been made, and where it's coming from. For example, we see this in the coffee business and the chocolate business. Customers want to know where their product has been and where it has been made. So the second part is personalization. Customers want to be able to create their own products, which is also why companies are working more with decentralized networks and are working more with local companies, which is also asking from the supply chain to be able to manage this. For example, Nike announced in 2019 that they would open several local manufacturing sites to be able to reduce the lead time so you can get your shoes faster.
Looking at control towers, how do control towers contribute into realizing such a world of one, as you say?
So control towers contribute in two ways. One is they are able to create visibility, so you know where your product is. And the second part is they create actionable insights. So you can take action once you see what's going on in the supply chain.
All right. And what are the challenges into realizing such a control tower and the world of one for consumer product companies?
So we see two challenges. The first has to do with really getting the most out of data. There's so much data, but with all the analytics and the big data technologies that are there, this is really about putting that together, experimenting, and starting to use that in the right manner. The second has to do with managing the network. So there's all these kind of different players that Ilka was talking about in the network now, and they all are providing data, but there's also ownership of the data, who provides what when, and who does what when there's an actionable insight. Who's going to talk to the customer? Who's the owner of the customer relationship? The good news is that control towers have always been about two things, about combining data and getting insights, and about taking that action across a network.
But if we're talking about consumer product companies, these are massive producing companies, global players. So where to start?
So the first part is getting the basics right.
Sure.
So manage the data and be able to create visibility.
The second part comes down to piloting. So start to leverage and start using these new technologies that are there. But don't do this across the entire supply chain. Take a small part and start piloting there. A good example of that is Unilever. In their control tower, they're now working on getting predictive ETAs from the trucks that are going to the different warehouses. So once you know what the new ETA will be, you can then take the next step and really take smart decisions, for example, with dock planning. And that really is going to save quite a lot of time and effort and really make the process a lot more efficient.
Basically, that means by using control towers, Within your consumer products organization, you allow for a smarter way of working. It is more of a connected approach. You know exactly where all your products are, and these data points have an interconnected relation. And it is really on a granular level that you have this control. Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks.